Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about three different elements or three different parts of songwriting. But before we do, make sure to smash that subscribe button so you never miss a beat. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the first part or element we're going to be talking about in songwriting is the melody. In my opinion, this is the most crucial part in songwriting. You need to make it a hummable or something that you want to whistle, something that you can recognize the song with right away. And some people will even call it the hook of the song. Something important to take into consideration is, what are you writing the melody for? Are you writing it for your voice, for vocals? Are you writing it for guitar, for piano? And it's important to know what you're writing it for. For example, if you're writing a melody for a guitar versus your voice, you might want to do a different key, a different total octave register to begin with, just because each instrument sounds better in certain ranges. Same with our voice. Our voices sound good in a certain range. Some things might be a little too high and out of our range, or a little bit too low and out of our range. So we want to find that sweet spot. The more you get to write with certain instruments, and then also learning to write for certain types of voices, because everyone has a slightly different voice, the more successful you will be in writing a clear and memorable melody. Moving on to the second part or element in songwriting that we're going to talk about today is the harmony. The harmony is there to support the melody. Now, sometimes you can talk about harmony in a couple different ways. Harmony you can think about as a chord, for instance, supporting the melody, or even dual harmonies going on. Now, this is more specific for like guitars, or where you're basically having single notes being played and thirds with each other with the melody. This is very popular to do with guitar or violin, a lot of stringed instruments, but also piano. If you think about it, a chord is really just a whole bunch of harmonies together to make a chord. You usually have a first, a third, and a fifth. So the harmony is there to support that melody. It needs to be a chord that's within the same key of what your melody is in, or else it just won't sound right. A good example of harmony is moving from a 1 chord to a 4 chord to a 5 chord. This is the most common way to write a harmony. Now obviously there's lots of different ways, and you can use whatever way you feel most fit for your type of song. But it also depends on the style that you're playing or writing for. If you're writing for a style of music that, let's say, is a little bit more progressive, you might be using types of chord progressions and harmonies that aren't as familiar to the ear, but also sound very pleasant. So when writing a song, it's super important to pick the right harmony to support your melody. Moving on to the third element or part of songwriting that we're going to talk about today, and that is lyrics or words. For me, that is a very big part of my history with music. Before I ever played an instrument, I would write parody songs. I would write lyrics and poems and things along those lines. Now, this is very important for lots of styles of music. Lots of songs have lyrics, as you know, and singing. Obviously, there's styles of music that don't have any lyrics, and that's totally fine. But if you want to be a songwriter, you need to get really good at writing lyrics. The important thing when writing lyrics is you need to understand how the flow works. You need to understand what the music's doing as well to support overall flow of the song. For instance, a lot of songs you have an intro, and then you have some kind of verse. Then you will either go to a chorus or a half chorus, and then back to a verse, and then to a full chorus or a double chorus. And then usually you have some type of bridge, and then you end with another chorus. Obviously, you don't always have to do this, and this is also just the form of the song as well. It's really important to make it work, because if you write a chorus, for instance, the lyrics just don't really work with your harmony or your melody, and that's kind of the most important part of the song. That's the hook of the song, and your lyrics just do not fit that harmony and melody. You probably got to write a new chorus. Let's say you wrote the melody already, and you start writing some lyrics, you feel pretty good about it, but then you try to sing along with the lyrics and they don't work. Maybe for a couple different reasons. Maybe you're holding out the notes too long and it doesn't work with the lyrics and the type of words you're using. Or you're singing them too short, and so maybe you need to extend the melody a little bit on certain notes. You can do that. But you also want to make sure that it just feels right, because music is all about feeling. Obviously, there's lots of things you want to take into consideration when writing a song. You want to take the melody, the harmony, and lyrics, and many other elements. Here's the thing. If you don't go based off your feeling, if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel authentically you, are you really songwriting, or are you recreating something you heard on the radio? And that's a big thing I try to emphasize on. Obviously, you're going to have certain influences from different artists and things like that. But if you're not writing from here, or are you really writing at all? And I think that's more of a kind of philosophical question. So right now, based on whatever your opinion is on that, I want you to comment that down below. If you're writing from the heart, is it real songwriting? If you're not writing from the heart, is it still real songwriting? So put your comments down below. All three of these parts and elements are super important together. When you write a good melody, a good harmony, and you have great lyrics with either a meaningful, message or something that just sounds catchy, it just feels like true expression of yourself. Honestly, the other parts are going to kind of just work themselves out. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. No one writes one song and it becomes a hit automatically. It takes years of songwriting to get great at songwriting and to even get one song that people even love listening to. A lot of times you're going to write songs that are pretty bad. You're going to write songs that don't express yourself fully. You're going to write songs that don't really make sense, but the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And these little tips are going to help you write a better song. Hopefully, these little tips have been helpful. If you want to get more in depth about either melody, harmony, or lyrics, click this video over here, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep rocking on.